Hey, it's Jules Vandermatt here. I'm an advanced certified EFT practitioner from Coffs Harbour, and I'm joined by my best tapping buddy, Katie Walker.
Jules. Thanks, Jules. Hi, I'm Katie Walker, an advanced certified practitioner operating out of Perth, Western Australia, but most of my work's done online.
Yeah. So with Mother's Day coming up this weekend, we thought we'd do a little tip about, Mother's Day is lovely for people that have mothers or have children who can help them celebrate mothers. But for me, my mum died 9 years ago, and so I find Mother's Day a little bit triggery. Some
Yeah,
years more than others. I don't have any daughters home this year either, which often having daughters makes up for not having mother. But my
yeah,
daughters are both living elsewhere at the moment, and I can't see them because of this stupid virus. So I thought it might be nice to acknowledge all the mothers without mothers, or the women without mothers, or the people
yeah,
without mothers. And just the way it pops up for me often is I'll be at a nursery, like that's one of my favourite things to do because I'm a gardener. And I used to go to the nursery with my mum,
mm-hmm.
and I was at the nursery the other day, and it used to make me so upset that I couldn't even go to nurseries for a long time after mum died. But now obviously I can go to nurseries. But if I see a mum and a daughter together, and it seems like around Mother's Day I see all these pairs of women, and I'm like, oh, that's a mum and a daughter, isn't it? And they look really happy and they're really enjoying time together. And so it just,
Yeah,
it just makes it hard to do things that you want to do. But it doesn't put me off doing it, but yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jules, because I know there are lots of mums, lots of women out there who don't have their mums, so I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
Because it can be hard. Before we start tapping, just to preface it by saying have a clean hands if you're touching your face, obviously during this time of COVID, and just to take full responsibility for yourselves. So, Jules, with that example that you just shared, is that what you're thinking about now, being at that nursery? And
yeah.
did you actually see two women together and assumed that they were?
Oh, they're jumping out at me, like a mother and a daughter. It's like an older mother with a daughter my age kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Or even, yeah.
So that was the other day?
Yeah.
Okay. So thinking about that, what's the emotion that comes up for you now? Not what you felt then, but now.
No,
Thinking about that.
it's sadness.
Sadness.
I just miss going to the nursery with mum. That was like one of
Yeah.
my favourite things to do with her.
Yeah. And is that sadness showing up anywhere in your body?
I feel like a little flutter. It's in my heart, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
And just rating the sadness for me, what would the sadness be from 0 to 10?
Probably about a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I say anything that doesn't land, or you want to say it in a different way, or if anything else comes up, just let me know. So,
sure.
Even though just thinking about being at the nursery the other day, mums and daughters were just jumping out at me.
Mums and daughters were jumping out at me.
Everywhere I looked, there was a mother and a daughter.
Everywhere I looked, there was a mother and a daughter.
And it just reminds me of how much I love going to the nursery with my mum.
And it just reminds me of how much I love going to the nursery with my mum.
And I feel this sadness in my heart.
And I feel this sadness in my heart.
It's a flutter feeling.
A fluttering in my heart.
I can still accept myself and how I feel.
I can still accept myself and how I feel.
Even though just thinking about being at the nursery the other day.
Was
there one particular mother and daughter team that you remember seeing?
I've got two in mind. Yeah.
Just remember seeing the mother and daughter.
Just remembering seeing that mother and daughter.
Reminds me of how much I really enjoy going with my mum.
Reminds me of how much I used to love going to the nursery with my mum. Yeah.
And I feel this sadness in my heart.
I feel this sadness in my heart.
It's a fluttery sadness in my heart.
A fluttering sadness in my heart.
I deeply and completely accept myself and all my emotions.
I deeply and completely accept myself and all my emotions.
And even just thinking about being at the nursery the other day.
Even just thinking about being at the nursery the other day.
And remember seeing that particular mother and daughter.
Remembering seeing that mother and daughter.
It reminded me of how much I love going to the nursery with my mum.
It reminded me of how much I loved going to the nursery with my mum.
And I feel this sadness in my heart.
And I feel this sadness in my heart.
It's a fluttery feeling in my heart.
It's a fluttery feeling in my heart.
I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel.
I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel.
Top of the head. This sadness in my heart.
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 Just thinking about that mother and daughter.
Just thinking about that mother and daughter.
Feeling this sadness in my heart.
Feeling this sadness in my heart.
This sadness.
This sadness.
This fluttery sadness in my heart.
This fluttery sadness in my heart.
Feeling this sadness in my heart.
This sadness in my heart.
Just keep going around, Jules.
Yeah.
I used to love going to the nursery with my mum.
I love going to the nursery with my mum.
And seeing that mother and daughter reminded me of that.
And seeing that mother and daughter reminded me of that.
This sadness in my heart.
This sadness in my heart.
Feeling this sadness in my heart.
Feeling this sadness in my heart.
This sadness.
This sadness.
The fluttery sadness in my heart.
The fluttery sadness in my heart.
This sadness.
This sadness.
Sadness.
This sadness. Oh.
Oh, nice. Nice work.
That's a good sign.
It's a great sign. So just checking in on that sadness.
Well, it's interesting because what my mind started thinking about, and this is classic EFT, your mind sort of starts getting a bit rerouted to think about other things, was how since this whole COVID thing and staying home stuff, I've been talking to my younger sister almost every single day.
Oh,
We're having
nice.
these big, long conversations about all sorts of things. And I was talking to her today before I was here with you, and I noticed there was a butterfly in the house, which is like my mum's little, that's a little symbol of my
Jules.
mum is a butterfly. And there's this beautiful butterfly. And I was talking to my sister and I looked up at the ceiling and there was a butterfly on the ceiling and I was like, she's here all the
Hello,
time.
mama. Hello,
Really?
mama.
Hello, mama.
I just got goosebumps.
Yeah,
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
I don't feel that sad.
oh,
And I have just made a beautiful new garden that
which
when
I
I'm in the
saw.
garden,
Beautiful.
I feel like mum's
You're
with me
together.
in gardening. So yeah.
So just checking in on that sadness.
Well, it's probably still there a little bit, like maybe a 3 or something, but it's a nice sadness. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of a bit, in a way, I understand how people say, oh, I want to hang on to this because it's kind of, it's nice, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
So I would suggest that we do another round, but we'll pause it there. So if you can, if you feel you need to, you obviously know what to do. But thank you so much for sharing that, and to the people who are experiencing something similar, it'd be worthwhile tapping along with what we just did to help sort of release some of that stuff that's there. So thanks, Jules.
Sure.
I'll see you.
Bye.
We'll see you all soon. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.